Here's when and why I use different isometrics, from yielding to EQI, isodynamic, and overcoming. Yielding isos are when you hold a position under load and attempt to prevent the joint from moving. I use these most in early prep phases, in season, in rehab, or if somebody's in pain. They allow you to load tissue with a low systemic cost. There's no high velocity lengthening. Load is predictable and stable, which makes them easier to tolerate when irritability or fatigue are high. In season, they allow us to accumulate strength volume without impeding recovery from practices or games, and these can potentially increase tendon stiffness and sometimes cross-sectional area. Next are EQIs, or eccentric quasi-isometrics, where you start with a hold and then slowly lengthen under tension. I program these similar to yielding, early phases, rehab, or when I want controlled long length exposure before I layer in more intense eccentrics or plyometrics. EQIs drive architectural adaptations at the muscle tendon unit in a controlled environment. There's also research that shows that they can produce greater total impulse with less fatigue and less perceived pain than heavy, slow resistance training. So they're an efficient way to build local work capacity without a huge systemic cost. Next are isodynamics, where you begin with an isometric hold at a certain position. You can also have that during the rep, and then you transition into more dynamic reps in the same pattern. So you might do a split squat hold for 10 seconds and then 10 consecutive reps. These are great to build time under tension, and they sit between pure isos and fully dynamic strength work. Overcoming isometrics are maximal intent into an immovable object. I typically use these later, although there's variations that I use in a warm-up, but this is when I want high force and early phase rate of force development without joint excursion at specific joint angles. And sometimes I pair these with jumps or med ball throws, not just for potentiation, but to teach the athlete certain positions and how to feel that speed strength that we're building. These are not the only way to use these. It's simply how I sequence them based on phase, cost, and the specific adaptations that I'm targeting.